Hello students, today will be discuss about the gift of the मैगी। आज का हमारा टॉपिक है द गिफ्ट ऑफ द मैगी, जो कि हेनरी काउंटेड ने लिखा है। ओ हेनरी ने द गिफ्ट ऑफ द मैगी स्टोरी लिखी है। The gift of the Maggie is counted among the best stories of not only Henry but the whole world of American stories. It shows the love of the couple who dedicate the most favorite things to please the other. It is the example of ideal love and sacrifice. Jim and Della. The poor people desire to give a wonderful present to each other, a thing which they actually aspired for in their life. Della sacrifices her hair to buy a platinum chain for her husband, and Jim his gold watch for the beautiful combs for Della's hair. The value of the gift thus is not based on their price but on their feeling and sense of sacrifice. Such strange situations take place in our real life also. The story is simple and the setting is biblical. Okay. जो गिफ्ट ऑफ द मैगी स्टोरी है वो दो कपल के ऊपर है, जिम एंड डेला, जो कि बहुत पुअर होते हैं, लेकिन दोनों की इच्छा है कि दोनों एक दूसरे के प्यार में कुछ अच्छा करें, एक दूसरे के लिए कुछ ऐसा करें जो हमेशा याद रहे। डेला जो है उसके बाल बहुत लंबे होते हैं, वो अपने बालों के साथ सेक्रीफाइस करती है और अपने हस्बैंड के लिए एक प्लेटिनम की चैन खरीद लेती है वॉच में लगाने के लिए। जो उसका हस्बैंड होता है वो जिम की गोल्ड वॉच होती है, जो कि डेला अपने ब्यूटीफुल हेयर को क्या करता है, बेच देती है डेला अपने हेयर्स को। और उसका जो हस्बैंड होता है जिम, उसको डेला के हेयर्स बहुत पसंद होते हैं, वो उसके लिए एक कॉम्ब खरीद कर लाता है। तो इसमें इस तरीके से गिफ्ट की वैल्यू दिखाई गई है, जो कि प्राइस पर बेस्ड नहीं है, केवल फीलिंग्स और सेक्रीफाइस पर बेस्ड है। ओके, यहाँ पर रियल लाइफ की सिचुएशन बताई गई है। ये स्टोरी बहुत ही सिंपल है और इसकी सेटिंग बाइबलिकल है। $1.87. That was all, and 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time by bulldozing the grocer and the vegetable man and the butcher until one's cheeks burned with the silent imputation of parsimony that such close dealing implied. 3 times Della counted it, $1.87, and the next day would be Christmas. There was clearly nothing left to do but flop down on the shabby little couch and howl. So Della did it, which instigates our moral reflection that life is made up soaps, sniffles and smiles. What with sniffles predominating while the mistress of the home is gradually subsiding from the first stage to the second. Take a look at the home. A furnished flat at $8 per week. It did not exactly beg a description, but it certainly had that word on the lookout for the Medicancy squad. In the vestibule below was a letterbox into which no letter would go, and an electric button from which no mortal finger could coax a ring. Also appertaining there unto was a card bearing the name Mr. James Dillingham Young. The Dillingham had been flung to the bridge during a former period of prosperity when its possessor was being paid $30 per week. Now, when his income was shrunk to $20, the letters of Dillinghams looked. Della finished her cry and attended to her cheeks with a powder rag. She stood by the window and looked out at a grey cat walking a grey fence in grey backyard. There is a pier glass between the windows of the room. Perhaps have seen a pier glass in $8 flat. A very thin and very agile person, by observing his reflection in a rapid sequence of longitudinal strips, a fairly accurate conception of his looks, Della Wingsland had in the art. Suddenly she wheeled from the window and stood before the glass. Her eyes were shining brilliantly, but her face had lost its color within seconds. Rapidly she pulled down her hair and let it fall to its full length. उसके जो हेयर्स थे वो बहुत बड़े थे और बहुत सुंदर थे, जो कि जिम को बहुत ज़्यादा पसंद थे। जिम उसके बालों के लिए कॉम्ब लेना चाहता था, कंघा लेना चाहता था, और जो डेला थी वो जिम के लिए एक चैन लेना चाहती थी जो कि उसकी वॉच की थी। ओके, there were two possessions of James Dillingham Young's which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's. The other was Della's hair, and Queen of Sheba lived in the flat across the air-shaft. Della would have let her hair hang out of the window some day to dry, just to depreciate Majesty's jewels and gifts. Had King Solomon been the janitor, with his treasures piled up in the basement, Jim would have pulled out his watch every time he passed, just to see him pluck at his beard from. So now Della's beautiful hair fell about her, rippling and shining like cascade of brown waters. It reached below her knee and made itself almost a garment for her, and then she did it up again nervously and quickly. Once she faltered for a minute and stood still while a tear or two on the warm red carpet. On went her old brown jacket, on went her old brown hat with a whirl of skirts, and with the brilliant sparkle still in her eyes, she fluttered out of the door and down the stairs to the street, where she stopped. The sign read Saffronia hair goods of all kinds. One flight of Della ran and collected herself, painting Madame Large to white. Chilly hardly looked the Saffronia. Will you buy my hair? Asked Della. I buy hair, said Madame. Take your hat off and let's have a sight at the looks of it. Down rippled the brown cascade. $20 said मैडम, यानी उसके जो हेयर्स थे वो $20 के लिए बोला था. लिफ्टिंग द मास विद द प्रैक्टिसाइज्ड हैंड. गिव इट टू मी क्विक said Della. Oh, and the next 2 hours stripped my why on rosy wings forget them. She was and shaking the storage for Jim's present. Okay. The Maggie, as you know, were wise men, wonderfully wise me, who brought gifts to the wave in the manager. They invited them, giving Christmas presents, being wise. Their gifts were no doubt once possibly wearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplicate. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other greatest treasures of their house. But in last word to the wise of the days, let it said with that of all who give gifts. These two were in the wisest, all who give gifts and receive gifts.